What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Breaking the Bass, episode 110. Thumbs up all around.
110.
All right, the crew is here. We have Ken, we got Madam B, and of course me, Narik. As the title suggests, we are going to be talking about what the hell we would do when, well, I say when, if the zombie apocalypse should ever happen. Now we do have this nifty little book called the Zombie Survival Guide, which you know what I'm saying. But even though it reads backwards, I don't know about you, Ken, but I know we got it, so we're gonna be straight.
Oh, I've got military background, man. I can take care of all kind of problems.
Right. Okay.
I wish I got me some more firepower though.
Yeah.
More personal firepower would be needed.
Yes.
It's funny that you brought this subject up for tonight because I do another side job, and during that side job, I find all kind of just weird things from time to time. And there's a particular house on the side job that had one of those Ford X650s, those big Mamma Jamma custom order trucks.
Yeah.
Like $100,000 monster. That was kind of weird.
They're trying. Oh, Jesus.
Every time.
You can't have a show without the train. You know that. But yeah, this guy had this big, it was just a four-door version, you know, very, I don't want to say it was raised up and all, but it was like a Ford S650. Now this guy has gotten rid of that one and brought in one of these monster trucks that it's probably a 650 or 750. It's got like diesel tanks and all kind of junk on it. It's like, that is the perfect zombie apocalypse vehicle. You could probably drive across the entire United States with that sucker, run over everything, and not even care what you just hit. I mean, this thing is a monster vehicle. Huge. I said that would be the perfect thing that we need for a zombie apocalypse.
I had a discussion a while back with Ray and Zach about this very subject. I wish they were here to defend their positions, but I'm not going to bring out what they thought.
Oh, no.
But that's all right. But in this, we're just going to talk about, you know, what we would do, like towards escape, protection, food, transportation, things like that.
All right. The beginning of the zombie apocalypse, after you've heard about it, what is your reaction? What would you do?
I think it depends first on how fast it spreads. Is it slow? Is it something that's going on in another part of the country?
Okay.
Or is it just like it's happening everywhere at the same time?
It's kind of like watching The Walking Dead and its partner series. What's the other one?
Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead. Basically, they take place at the same time, but one's on East Coast and one's on West Coast. And in that case, you know, you got double whammy. It wasn't just starting on the East Coast and working its way across. I mean, you got smacked both sides of the continent there.
Mm-hmm.
But it also depends on it really depends on which zombie lore that you go with, you know, and how you deal with a particular, you know, zombie. Because we've seen like, was it World War Z? Where the zombies are, I mean, they convert super fast. They're quick. They're fast. There's like hardly any time of getting away. But then we have like, let's say The Walking Dead, where, you know, it's already been a couple of years and there's still zombies walking around, you know, scratching you or biting you is the cause that gives you the fever and kills you and makes you come back. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, which one are you dealing with? You know, a lot of the stuff that I've read online was like, you know, if we really had a truly apocalyptic zombie moment, if you could hide up for about a month, you wouldn't have to worry about squat. Because basically the zombies would dissolve into piles of goo and just be bones anyway.
Yeah.
So you really wouldn't have to worry about much. As long as you could stay out of harm's way, I guess, and, you know, keep out of the way, or stay in colder climates. We've also seen, you know, the theory of that where, you know, zombies are just like humans. The tissue gets cold, it gets slow, and they don't move as fast. So, you know, it kind of depends on what area you're dealing with. So,
okay, I can get behind that.
There's a science to the madness. Me personally, I've kind of thought about this. It would be really cool setting up like a nice, big, cool, like big dome house with a big old fence around it, like a 25-foot fence around it, and have like embankments so you could pop off bad creatures and stuff as you go.
Yeah,
Be completely upgraded. Have a well. Have your using solar power and wind power to keep everything rolling. Plenty of spare stuff, fuel storage. I mean, if you really wanted to go crazy, that'd be the way to go, and it'd be awesome.
I thought about it, and I thought about this a while ago. Remember, we were coming back from Philadelphia, and I was like looking on the side of the road. I think I said it out loud, and I started realizing they had blocks on the side of the road, and it was somewhere they were kind of stacked, but they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking, what if you could block your house off like that?
Mm-hmm.
Like the cinder blocks?
Yeah, you use those and block your house off like that, because they're not going to be able to knock down those cinder blocks. Not like that. I mean, fences are okay, but you know what I'm saying? We've seen that the fences can be torn down if
you have enough mass.
Yeah.
Kind of like, watching some of the early episodes of The Walking Dead where they're in a prison.
Mm-hmm.
And they got, they would go around daily knocking them off. But at some point in time, you're going to have to come out and clear that way out. You're going to have to get out there and get rid of those bodies and burn them or whatever, to keep them from stockpiling and staggering on them like they did in World War Z, where they literally climbed upon each other, all just literally like ants, and climbing up. And they had huge walls, but it only took a matter of one infected person pretty much spawned off half the city.
Yeah.
It was it was crazy fast.
Good idea too. And it was a good idea how they did that. I mean, I don't buy how they built that wall up in like a week.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I get out if they could build a defensible wall, but not a wall that big.
Yeah, that was a few years worth of work done up pretty fast. But the idea was sound what they had set up there in Israel. I mean, they had it down. I mean, they were like big walls, small entrapment areas.
Did they have any people walking on top of the wall?
Yeah,
because I don't remember that.
No. Well, in one section of the city, they did have people walking, kind of, but they weren't on the wall. They had like battlements around it.
Yeah, because that would have helped when the zombies climbed up. If they had people actually shooting down.
Yeah, but you saw how fast that went. I mean, hell, unless they had a minigun or something, to drop that amount of people, they would have not stand a chance. And just like in the, I think it was Fear the Walking Dead by the hospital, where they had blocked off the hospital, and that old guy went out there and got revenge on the military there by opening the Coliseum doors and letting all those zombies come rolling out.
Thank you. You are a gentleman and a scholar. You just spoiled that for us, man. I'm messing with you.
I was like, dang.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry.
Like, if I was like a military or something, or like say if I was on a port, right, I would use those big trailer things to build a wall.
Oh yeah, container storage.
Yeah, like no amount of zombies could move that.
No, hell no. Not even hurricanes move them things.
To just like for like on a dock or something, block it off. Block it off using those. If I'm at like a construction site or a home or something, and if I can get to those cinder blocks, I could do it to where you can build a wall right around your house, and then you can like expand, build one wall, and then
collapse it and build another wall to expand your area,
or even keep it up, That's, you ever see that show Attack on Titan?
Yeah,
that's what they did.
I've seen parts. I've seen. Yeah, they started with the cities and started building the mega cities and stuff.
Yeah,
and expanding them.
Yeah, they expanded.
And then the Titans came back.
What are your thoughts on it?
Let me see. Get back on topic. Okay, so let's just say it breaks out, and okay, let's just say these zombies are, let's just say the slower moving ones. So maybe we have a little time. But from where you're at, like your home, if you know it's not protected, or you know they're going to come through, um, you know that the streets would be blocked with people trying to get out. So what would be another thing that you would do?
You can't take the main roads, of course.
So would
well, see, I would head to. I got property in Wiggins. So from here, I mean, now granted, it'll be I can get to the house from back roads from here, and I do have a place up there, although it doesn't have a well. But yeah, I would be making my effort to get away from metropolitan areas, cities, major cities, and getting the heck out of Dodge.
Thank you.
And then stopping by and making some shopping at your local armament and getting some goodies.
Because I was thinking about that. What would be like the first place you would do? What would be the first thing you would do? Would you try to leave? Would you try to, or would you stay? Or would you try to like find a place to go to? Because when we was talking to Zach said, him and Ray said their plan was to go out, get on like this luxury cruise liner. And I was like, y'all can't take it because one, y'all ain't gonna be able to operate it. Y'all don't have any skills towards that. Two, I'm quite sure people that know how to use it are going to be
gone.
Yes, and then you're going to be fighting to get on there with other people, and that kind of increases the chances of somebody being infected on board.
Yeah, you really this comes into something I'm really kind of starting to get into, which is basically what's called prepping. You know, what if disasters? They call it SHTF. We'll save the S part, but you know, hell, it's the fan of when things go bad, whether it's a natural disaster, man-made disaster, riot. You know, any of these scenarios that cause you to have to get away, and they have what's called 72-hour bags, day bags. You know. Get home bags. There's all different types of things, and a lot of how you would handle something like this would be exactly how well you're prepared. And most people would probably be gone in 24 to 48 hours. They just won't make it.
Yeah.
You know, I keep telling my kids, I'm like, look, you guys are be gone in 24 hours. It sounds horrible and harsh, but they don't have any mentality. They don't care to learn anything. They don't want to learn any skills. They don't want to, you know, They think because they play video games that they'll be badass, and I'm like, y'all have no realistic understanding of the situation whatsoever. Zero. You know, you guys will probably be dead in 24 to 48 hours at best, and mostly because it won't be because a zombie gets you. It's because you do something stupid or somebody gets you. Because you just don't pay attention. It could be during the winter, it could be during the rain. You'll get sick. You know, there's just all these different things, but they just don't want to learn. And this is, you know, this scenario that we're talking about is a great opportunity for somebody to go, you know what would I do? Where am I going to go? How am I going to evacuate? Where am I going to go? Am I going to stay here? And I have enough, you know, am I prepared to be here and take care of my family and stuff? Those are all kind of great questions to ask in a scenario you know, of something like that magnitude, like a Katrina coming through. You know, no one was ready for that. I mean, yeah, some people went and bought water and stuff, but you had no idea what was going to hit you.
That's.
Oh no, I was going to say, so like if you had to stay, like where we're at now and where you're at now, Ken, if you had to stay and it was like the roads are blocked and he's like, okay, well, let me find a place to go. Where would you go? Would you go to office building, a hospital, police station, a school? Like where would you go? Where would you think the safest place for you to hold up?
Populated areas will probably be the worst mistake you can make because you'll be so close and involved. But a good solid building, like if you could find a National Guard armory, if you could find most of your emergency services will be out and about. being involved. So I don't think those would be really good hot spots for you to go to because they'll be crazy anyway. But any good sturdy building that you can get up and still have a way to control who gets in and out, and who can, at least a way you can get out if something goes wrong, and a good egress. Ooh, that's today's big word, egress. Wow, you can tell that military training is kicking in. But a good solid building, like a cinder block building, like schools here made a cinder block, or a good heavy brick building, something that you can control. Schools would be almost ideal because they have a fence around them most of the time anyway. Plus, they'll have food storages, and usually it's in cans and stuff, so you have some food.
But the biggest problem with schools is the windows, because there are a lot. Now, if you can block the doors, you ain't got to worry about going in those rooms.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, that gives you disadvantages too. Again, multiple entry points into a building. Mm-hmm. If you can't block the doors, windows, could be damaged and gain entry. I mean, granted, you're going to remember you're going to be fighting with everybody else around you. I mean, what's the population on the coast? Like a couple 100,000 people or something stupid number like that?
It's like 100,000.
So, I mean, you got to think that when this stuff goes, I work on Keesler, so I could be on the military base when this happens, which would be an ideal place. But again, you still have this situation. Yes, it's a controlled in and out, but you still have a population. It's a small city. So you still have to deal with the potential of, again, isolating yourself, mm-hmm. or a small group of people in that situation. It'd be just as bad as being outside in, Biloxi or Gulfport or somewhere along that. But, fortifying your place too is an important, when you talk about cinder blocks and stuff like that, being able to, like, my front door is glass, worst thing you could possibly have. Putting something up above that door, getting it to where you can, block in my porch if I have to. Mm-hmm. I do have a fence in the backyard that's pretty steady, and I have some power generation from, projects that I have going on. But our biggest problem would be food and water.
Yes.
After a while, you can't really guarantee that the water and services are going to run. I mean, you might get a week maybe, but after that, you're kind of on your own. Mm-hmm. Power is definitely going to fail eventually, if not, relatively quick. And again, it depends on how much control you have of your situation too, how fast services and people react to the situation going on around them. I mean, granted, it would be shocking because people are like, "Oh, zombies are real." Everybody was like, "It's all movie stuff. It's all movie. This is real."
I think if that should jump off, I think it'll be a shooting fest.
Oh my God, yes.
You ever see that movie, The Crazies?
No.
It was these country boys on there that was hunting the people down.
I saw a little bit.
Like for sport. I'm quite sure it's going to be a bunch of dummies. I mean,
I guarantee there's going to be a lot of personal casualties because people like myself and others who are gun advocates will definitely be in force.
I don't think the population will fall apart that like that, because remember what I said. I brought up to us. I was like, in our world, if it happened, we already have a classification for what they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not guessing at it.
We're not like what's going on.
Oh, that's a zombie. Blow its head off.
Yeah. And I think people gonna rack up. I mean, yes, will. Looting and stuff, but I think people gonna hunker down and gonna do some damage.
Well, that's just like if you've read the World War Z books, mm-hmm. At first they didn't know what to do, and then they kind of figured out how to deal with it. And so the soldiers were used to dealing with using thermal imaging. Zombies have no body temperature. They were used to, shooting people in the mash, in the chest. It doesn't affect them. They don't slow down. So they had to learn how to revamp their tactics to shooting for the head or upper torso or mass casualty, obliterating the body beyond usability, that complete mentality. So now we, in our run, we know blow zombies' heads off. That's how it works.
But the thing about it is, which I just thought of too, that would work for slow zombies, not so much for fast ones.
No, you would have to be.
Fast
You would
ones
have to have
harder.
massive firepower or lines of people just pretty much just throwing it out there, or armored vehicles with some type of external turret that could be utilized. There's a lot of play. That's why I said it's so hard to kind of gauge depending on what's going on. You have the Z zombies, you have Z Nation zombies, you have the classic zombies that are just dragging around. You have the smart ones, like
You have
that kind of figured out how to use tools and basic mechanics.
go ahead. Tell them about that series that you was listening to.
Oh, it was a podcast series. It's called We're Alive. Found it on Spotify, which is great, by the way. I'm trying to get him to listen to it, but they didn't know what they were, so it was like a breakout, and it follows a couple of people, but they're with the army, so it's kind of like they had to get on their stuff like right away.
Mm-hmm.
But what they did was they already. The zombies is like what do you call that word?
Wow.
Yeah, they evolve like really, really quick. The ones in this one, they can talk.
What?
They're smart. They have like the same brains, like as if they were alive. They take their dead and they take it back with them wherever they're at. Like zombie come up on you, you shoot them in the head. And then next thing you know, they were gone. They took their dead back to where they was at. And they have runners, biters, and what do you call them? The big behemoth? The big behemoth ones who won't slow down like for anything.
Like berserkers?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or like think about it. And if you ever played the game Left 4 Dead, there's no way you can get out those zombies. Like those zombies swarm like World War Z. And
that's the ones you gotta worry about.
And plus those, they can like scale buildings and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's creepy. Not like climb over each other, like literally scale the buildings. And they come
that's creepy.
Of course you got
I think the physical limitation though, I mean we can have the faster zombies, that are fresh.
Yeah.
And still lively. Yeah, and they can move, and then you have kind of like the ones that have been around a little bit, kind of getting, because I mean, realistically speaking, again, when we started this, if you could hold out a month, most of them will be goop anyway. So you think of the human body already starts decomposing the moment you die, anywho.
Yeah.
So you would have probably maybe a good week of mobility of a zombie doing something. Before it started deteriorating to a point where it couldn't move anymore.
Yeah. All you had to, like what Ken said, survive for 28 days.
What a strange coincidence. Rage. I don't want any rage in my eyes. And that's weird because the only way you could get it is if it's splashed in your eyes.
Yeah.
And what are the odds of the one guy? I don't know what's going on. Oh!
And I read some of the Zombie Survival Guide, and I read this series called The Deadland Saga. Well, we read it, and they introduced factors that I never really considered, like with food storage. You have to have certain foods in certain types of areas. Like you can't have your canned foods in like a moist area because your food can or start to not rot.
Maggoty.
No, it's mold. It get mold and stuff.
And maggoty.
Okay, maggots. Like that. Oil, stashing oil and gasoline and stuff. Like
gets old.
Yeah, gets. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep it where it's gonna be fresh. Same thing with like weapons and stuff. Like I never considered stuff like that until I read those books. Like,
but it jumps off. Where's the first place people are gonna go to? But people smart, they're like, okay, let them get theirs, and then go to someplace where they don't think it's actually really good stuff at. People are gonna hit up Walmart, all of the food stores.
Yeah,
that's all they're gonna be thinking about.
Yeah, this is where that conversation I had a minute ago was all about prepping. The folks that are the hardcore preppers have like whole places stashed, you know, like get bunkers and all kind of junk stashed away. They have plans. They have, you know, when you're talking about gas, food, storage, clothing. I mean, those folks, when something happens, they'll vanish. You won't see them. They will be gone, and they will be gone for a long time. And eventually they'll come back out to see what's going on. And that's what's going to happen with any kind of major craziness like that. The people who are ready, you won't see them. They're not going to be hitting the Walmart. They're not going to be hitting Target. They're not going to be rushing to gas stations. They're going to be gone out the door and away within 24 hours.
Yep.
And you will not see them or hear from them ever again. Now, the really cool thing is a lot of these folks actually do groups too. So, you know, I've watched several guys on YouTube that they get together like every so often, and they go in the middle of the night. They just like a Saturday. They come running through, grab let's go, and they grab their backpacks, their stuff, exercise their plants, and they're gone. And yep, a big food storage pantry like that.
This our food storage right here. I didn't want to show everybody, but this is our food storage. We've been stocking up.
You got that Spam going on there?
Yeah.
That's a very popular food, right? And that and Twinkies.
We prepared for this conversation too. Look at it.
Look at that. Look at all them spices and stuff, man. You guys are rocking.
I don't know why the hell we got all those spices, but look, we got syrup right here.
Look, there's syrup, and you got carnation, mayonnaise. God, what else in there? You got a lot of stuff going on. I am very happy about your food storage. You see them cans to your right there? That's pretty good. Smart thing.
Hey man. You
know you can can meat.
Get at us at the right time, Ken. We got you too, buddy.
I'll be sitting there eating all kind of stuff. Nom, 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 nom. I'll be eating the spices, and you guys won't know what's going on. But these guys it's really crazy and stuff. You know, I just dived into I don't know if you saw my Facebook, but I had put I got a little solar oven going on. You know, that's pretty cool.
So you all into it yourself, man.
I got all kind of. I mean, I got a wind turbine on my house. I got some solar panels on my house. I'm trying to grow my own stuff. You know, and it just kind of came out of the blue. It's like the last 2 years. I don't know, man. It's just kind of like my grandparents. You know, they came from old school. You know, they went through the Great Depression and all that stuff, and they grew their own vegetables, their own food most of the time. Very rarely did they ever go to the store to buy like any type of vegetable or anything like that.
Yeah.
They had a fish. I don't want to say a fish farm, but they had a what do you call it, like a cabin by a lake, and they would go out and do a massive thing of fishing and clean up the fish, put them away, Ziploc and freeze them, or what do you call it, vacuum seal them.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And they ate a lot of fish and vegetables and stuff. They lived in a chicken. Their first house was a chicken house. That's not a joke. That really is. You know, there wasn't a lot of housing in, you know, at the tail end of or beginning of World War II and stuff. So that's where that was their first house. But, you know, the same thing applies now. I'm getting that bug where it's like, you know, anything you can do, growing stuff in your kitchen, growing stuff, you know, the 5-gallon buckets with some dirt on the back porch of your house. That's what they did. I mean, for the longest time, I never really paid attention to this stuff until I'm now my age, and I'm like,
it's good to know.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, you know, why I never noticed it. I never put it together. I mean, my other grandparents have a lot of property and had a 1-acre garden out there, and we grew everything. And you know, summertime was 4:30 out there with old paper bags and a bucket to sit on, and you sat out there and you picked beans and peas, and you come back, shell them and pack them, and then wintertime when we went up there for Christmas break, we ate them.
Yeah.
You know? Hell yeah, that stuff's the best food on the planet. You know? And that's what a lot of people have to do now. And since of our disaster, you know, being prepared is exactly it. And you were talking about your zombie survival guide, just as a reference. I have a book behind me called, hang on, let me reach it real quick. It is actually a book, which you might like to look into. I got it at a book show. It's called Prepare for Anything Survival Manual. Gear, Skills, and Survival, 338 Essential Skills. And this book literally covers everything from shelter, food, medicine, how to make your own light bulbs, how to make grow food. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Canning, prepping foods. I mean, this book is literally full of everything. Even using like herbs and things like that for medicine, because obviously, you know, we're not going to have pharmacies or doctors available. You're going to have to kind of take care of yourself.
Yeah.
It covers all that. Family, or not say family planning, let me rephrase that. Like say you're growing food, how much food do you need? How much space do you need? I mean, this thing has got everything in it.
What's that thing like where you can farm an area for so long, but then you have to move to another area, but you have to I forgot what it's called, but you gotta yeah.
Yeah, it's like they used to plant peanuts instead of, like, you could grow cotton for like 1 or 2 years, and then you would have to swap it out to like peanuts or soybeans because of what the nutrients and stuff and the damage that the crop you're doing grows.
Yep.
A lot of this kind of cover. I mean, there's some mention of that in here, but they talk more like we were just talking about the 5-gallon buckets and things. You know, stuff that you could set up quickly, readily, fast.
Yeah.
Cooking using cardboard boxes. You know, improvising, smoking foods to preserve them. I mean, they're really. This is one hell of a really good book, and it was like what $27. And I mean,
this stuff like that.
Yeah, this thing is awesome.
Life hacks that I
Oh
see,
yeah,
they'll come in handy, even though people find them stupid, but they'll really come in handy.
Yeah, these. I mean, you know, books like this come in super. Shoot him in the head. Shoot him in the head. We were talking about that the other day. You know, what like in a pinch, what kind of weapons would you use? And they said, which would you rather have, an axe or a gun? You know, to use it in a situation like that, which would actually work best for you?
I see. I go ahead and get. It depends. It's the scenario. It just depends. If you have the ammo.
See, that was the magic word right there.
You have the ammo, or it depends on the circumstance. If you're trying to be quiet, the axe. If it's close quarters, the axe. If it's like farther away, the gun. If you have the ammo, you don't mind the loud noise, the gun.
That was the catch. I heard, well, I'll take a gun. I said, yeah, but you run out of ammo.
You can only club somebody in the head.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, because if you try to aim for the head and you miss, you risk them falling down on you if you're not that strong, and you get infected. So it's like,
And you can use the axe if not to help. You know, if you can't get to the head, you can use it as a buffer to like show
your close quarters is going to be about 3
feet. Keep pressing A.
A-B, quick. Yeah, they have they have mentions of firearms in here, and it's like, you know, talking about all the variant, you know, shotguns and rifles and some of these what's called takedown rifles, which are survival rifles.
Yeah.
In here, I never knew there was this many uses for vodka. Vodka is a one vodka is, it says don't get caught without vodka, and here's why. You could use it as mouthwash, pain reliever, mosquito repellent, get rid of mold.
Can't you use treatment? To clean the wound?
Yep. Antiseptic, clean, make a muscle rub, deodorize clothing. I mean, there's like 2.5 pages of uses of vodka.
See?
I'm like, dang, I didn't know it was that good, because I mean, I know in some cases you could probably run your car with it.
And guess what? The number one thing you can do with it, drink it.
Yeah.
Let me stop.
Because then you're going to die right after that. You might as well do it. Because you're going to get drunk and slow, and then you're just going to be. You don't have to be faster than zombies. You just need to be faster than the person with you. You're a sick man. I am not sick. I just think about these things.
You know, when I was talking to Zach and them, I told them when they thought I was crazy for it, but I was serious. I said something like that jumped off. I would wait for a little bit, but I would try to go get my family. And they were like, "Well, you're gonna die." I'm gonna go trying to go save my family.
No, that's gonna be, you know, my case. I mean, I have a lot of them here, but fortunately, you know, my parents are about 8 hours away, but they live in a rural area where, you know, there's not a whole lot around anyway. So, I mean, they would be okay for a little while. But, you know, here, this is the biggest problem in this area is population. That's going to be your worst enemy.
Vodka.
No, comrade, it is not vodka. Not in a plastic cup.
A vodka. Yeah, like it is because like you can't go by the main roads. And if you did, you had to go by foot. Since you've been, both of us kind of been in the area for the minute, like you said, you know the back ways that'll help out a lot. If you own the boat, yeah, it would make sense to kind of go out to leave out that way, but that's if you own it. Because I ain't gonna go sit here and steal somebody's boat. Don't know how to fix a boat. Best thing I could do is what? Sit there and just kind of cruise along the coast. And if you did that,
cruising the coast.
I didn't mean to play on words. But
coming up in September, by the way.
Yeah, it's like you don't, and that's a dangerous thing about being at sea at a situation like that. Because if you're like on a cruise liner, there's a lot of people, food rationing, and then by the time you know what I'm saying, you risk something happening to the boat. You risk also
you're in a confined space. Exactly. Yep. You're in a confined, again, metropolitan area. A cruise ship is a floating city. Mm-hmm. You know, one contaminated person on there, and it's pretty much, it'll go through very rapidly, very quickly, and you have nowhere to go.
And then, of course, dwindling supplies, and you having to port again. Mm-hmm. But you don't know that if the place that you're going to have any supplies to get. You don't know the condition of the people there, and you don't know how big the infected zone is.
Yeah, you have a lot of what ifs in that scenario. Mm-hmm. You know, again, the biggest thing here, and as with any disaster or any, in our area, particularly hurricanes is a big thing in our area between June and November. Being prepared is absolutely mega important. And in any situation, and we're talking zombies and throwing that out there for, what would happen. But in reality, though, you really need to think about stuff like that happening. I mean, not particularly zombies, but something bad going on that you might need that, what's called a 72-hour bag. Something goes wrong, grab and go. Mm-hmm. Get on the road, get out of there, get as fast as you can. Know your ways out, know your area, know what's going on. Super mega important. I mean, I'm just now kind of stepping into this. I mean, I probably should have been in this a long time ago. I mean, I have to take care of my family, and I've got 5 people here, and you got a lot to take care of. That's a lot. I mean, just you and MademB. Hey, it's a little bit easier. You only get down to 2 people. You get a little bit more flexibility there.
Doing that.
Yeah, I wanted to learn how to can food too. And this is kind of bumming me out, so I'm going to take a little sip of this vodka.
God, it's like 90 proof. It's weak. Give me something more 150 proof, comrade. But yeah, it's something to definitely look into. I mean, you should always be slightly prepared, no matter what the circumstance. Whether you're in an area prone for storms, whether you're, something bad may happen. I mean, you really truly never know what's going to happen around you. And at least being smart and prepared and learning some of this stuff won't be harmful to you. It might actually be very interesting, and you might be like, "Wow, I really didn't know that."
And another
make yourself smarter.
Scenarios like that show you how beneficial it is to have a skill.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's been an electrician, a carpenter, a plumber, a farmer, you know what I mean? Because
your trade skill people are going to be absolutely critical in a situation like that.
People that learning how to make firearms, people that know how to weld,
hunting, people who can hunt and trap. I mean, there's a lot of skills that are dying off. People really don't know how to do squat. And like I say, I mean, I was trying to get my kids involved in learning just basic skills. You should be able to start a fire, cook on, make shelter, or understand what shelter is. I'm trying to remember they call it the rule of 3s, but you can. It's like 3 seconds without air, 3 minutes without like water, something like that. 3 days without food, and it just kind of works its way up. Everything's in threes. So basically, food, clothing, shelter. In this case, really, it's more like shelter, clothing, food. To get out of the elements and get yourself protected are very important things. And getting past that, and a lot of the bags and preparation stuff always carries something for fire, something for water, something for shelter, and clothing. It always has all those, and multiple versions of that too, because you might have a small pouch upon yourself. You might have a bag that you have with you that has all these things in there, and it keeps you out of, try to keep you out of harm's way as best as possible. So it's pretty neat.
And even think about like little things that you could use: first aid kits,
absolutely,
flashlights, batteries, walkie-talkies,
knives, maps, cash. Cash, coins, multiple versions of way to start fires, multiple sheltering, clothing. Again, depends on where you're at too. Clothing is a very important thing, because if you live in northern climates, you might have a hat and a better type of gloves. You might have dust masks, safety goggles. If you're in a city, they have what's called urban get home bags that are differently. They're not set up like, say, you would be stuck out in the woods somewhere. They're more geared towards, like, you have these multi-keys, because buildings have these water things that have no faucets on them. And they have these keys, specialized keys, and you could get water from these places, because there's going to be waters in the pipes for a lot of these buildings anyway. So you'll still be able to get water out of some of these buildings by draining these pipes. Your sheltering is different. Your considerations, you might have a multi-tool that's kind of like an axe, hammer, demolition type tool, pry bars for more city, where outside in the woods you might have cable saws or hand saws or axes. Your complement of tools is going to be different to the environment that you're in or around.
I want y'all to tell me what y'all think about this idea. I had this idea for more like a bigger city like Manhattan or something like that, but we do have buildings that are kind of like next to each other like this. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and go with this one. I said, if it did jump out to be something like that, go to a building where you can get to maybe the second floor and cut off the first floor. So if there's anything in those remaining floors, you can knock those off. But there's nothing that can come from the bottom floor, because you've already bought it off. Okay, so you go to another building, but you go to it from the rooftop, work your way back down, so that way nothing can come up, but you're cleaning out everything that's going down, so you're creating more space.
You could. The only thing that is bad about a city environment or a very proximity close building is fire.
Yes.
You have to think about, we're going to probably lose infrastructure. Fire departments are going to be busy. Car accidents, things are going to happen. And that's why I said that the kind of the further you can get away from a metropolitan or a larger city area, probably the better off you'll be. If you're stuck in there, that's one of the things you have to watch for. And your idea is sound. Keep the bottom floor clean, so you can't get in, but occupy the second or third floor. But also remember, again, you're going to need a way out. If something goes wrong, you need a back door. You need multiple ways to get away, because what if something does happen? What if that barrier fails? What if your entrapment areas fail? What if somebody else has the same idea you do, and they start jumping roof to roof and coming down and getting you? It's going to be a very nasty place, and people are not going to be wanting to share a whole lot of anything.
Worry about.
That's probably just the biggest threat, if not more, other people.
Yeah, that's going to be a very large. That's me personally. If I had to stay here, it could be done, but I would prefer not to be here, and I would put as much distance between me and, in this case, Biloxi, the Ivorville area, as I could. and I would get out to where I have open area. I know that I can at least pull something off in a more defendable area. Less population will probably be less problematic. But I always joked about, what do you call them? Those big hunting places.
Yeah.
There's one over in Baton Rouge, Bass Pro Shop. I said, you know what would be the best one is take over a Bass Pro Shop, lock that door, lock all the doors, and then you have everything you need. You got sleeping bags, you got food, clothing, shelter, cooking stoves, fuel. I mean, everything you need is in the Bass Pro Shop.
I was thinking about hitting up a pawn shop too.
Pawn shops would be a good spot, but they don't have ammo. You can get firearms there, and some limited weaponry.
Yeah.
Tools would be another thing. That's one of the things in that book that addresses, keeping yourself a toolkit, a basic toolkit, screwdrivers, hammers, and stuff like that. Because you're gonna have to do some kind of repair. You might have to do some reinforcement. What are you gonna do? I mean, there's a lot of questions in there, so it's pretty cool. And it's a good, nice thing we talked about prepping. It's fun. It's entertaining. and we throw the twist of blowing zombies' heads off with, and I'm pretty sure you're right there, Narik. When crap does hit like that, I don't think there's going to be a zombie standing a chance around here with the NRA members in this area.
It's not going to be, of course things are going to happen, but it's not going to be like in the movies where it starts off and then there's like a straight up apocalypse.
Yeah, it's not. Who knows?
It'll be areas where it'll hit heavier than others. There will be casualties.
Yeah, cities are going to always be your big. That's why everybody who plans to blow something or get rid of something or introduce something is always pretty much in a metropolitan area. Mm-hmm. Your large cities are always your starting point because you have so many people so close to each other. Yeah. You send one person in with something, and they're going to bump into 1,000 people, give or take, if they walk the block. And those 1,000 are going to populate and populate and populate. That 1,000 turns into 10,000, turns into 100,000. And it may take like a week, but it will happen. That's one of the things they tell you. Like, say, if I were deployed in a unknown location and you find stray animals, you usually end up knocking them off or getting rid of them as fast as you can, because one of the things that can be done is they give that animal, let's say dogs are very common, they'll give a dog some kind of disease or bring something with it, and everybody wants to befriend the dog and be its buddy, and the dog doesn't know any different. I mean, it's just there, but it's a carrier for something. And next thing you know, that dog is spreading that stuff everywhere, and everybody's sick, and next thing you know, you wipe out a whole encampment from that one little dog. Yeah. So, it's how you think about it. They've used rats in the past with the plague. As chemical warfare, blankets to the Native Americans. There's a lot of different things that people don't really think about. So, what's best is, one, be prepared, have a plan, and granted, it may not be zombies or aliens or whatever, but I mean, there could be something that happens. Be ready to go. Have your plan in place and be ready to go. And if you can't go, then, be skilled up enough to be able to handle yourself for a little while.
Yeah.
At least the minimum is 72 hours. That's the one that they push. 3 days as a minimum time frame. So keep that in mind.
Well, we done reached that time. We will be revisiting this subject in the future. Hopefully with Zach or somebody else to help join into the conversation. But I guess that's it, guys. Y'all want to say any last little statements?
Be careful.
Knowledge is power.
And I got another. But all right then, guys. Thank you again for attending another edition of Breaking the Base. We greatly appreciate you joining in on us with this conversation. In the comment section below, let us know what are your thoughts, plans, ideas about what you would do in that situation, as what other people can do in that possible situation.
Or any situation.
Any disastrous situation. Also, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on the Narik Chase channel. And remember, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do upload videos, so stay tuned. And until our next video, Narik and crew are signing out.